Hi guys, I'm Jess from Honest Fiction, and welcome back to my channel. Stick around to hear my June TBR. Alright guys, so before we get into my TBR list, let me start by saying that this month is going to be a very weird month for me. So one, my school is going to be over. I work at a school and it ends in June, so I will have more time to read. However, me and my husband are working on purchasing our first home, and it is very, very time consuming. So that's going to cut into my reading a little bit. So I made this TBR a little bit smaller than normal. I will hopefully be able to read more than this, but I just figured I'd make like a tentative tiny TBR just in case. But anyway, these are the books that I definitely will get to next month. There's a decent amount of fantasy, romance, a graphic novel, and I think a couple thrillers. So before we get into the list, if you're unfamiliar with my channel, I post new videos every Tuesday and Sunday. And if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. You can also hit that notification bell to be notified whenever I post new bookish content. Also, you can check out my Instagram. I'm working on it, guys. I'm trying to post daily. It hasn't happened. I'm getting better. I have reminders set on my phone, so you can definitely check out my Instagram. It's linked in the description. With that being said, let's get into my TBR list. All right, guys, so I'm gonna start off with fantasy, and the first book is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. So I already read Six of Crows and the original Shadow and Bone series, and I feel like I need to read this duology just to say that I completed it. I know this is getting very mixed reviews. People seem to either love this or hate this. Let me know in the comments if you read this, what you thought, but I love Nikolai. He's like one of my favorite characters, so I can't imagine not enjoying this book. So I will definitely be reading King of Scars and possibly the sequel in June. The next book I'm super pumped about. It is a debut Jamaican-inspired fantasy novel, and that is Witches Steeped in Gold by, I believe it's pronounced Ciannon Smart. I looked it up online and I got a few different pronunciations, so we're gonna go with that. But it is about two enemy witches that have to form an alliance. I don't know very much about it, but the cover looked awesome, and overall I've heard really good things about it, so I'm definitely excited to check that out. I think I will be doing a full review of that book or a reading vlog when I get around to reading it, but I will definitely be reading that in June. And the next book is a book that has been on my radar for a while, and I've been wanting to pick it up, and I finally ordered it, and that is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan O'Connor. And I believe this is the first book in the Wayward Children series. I think this is like a portal fantasy where different children are able to like go to other worlds, and then they come back and they're trying, I think they end up all being sent off to a school to kind of deal with the fact that they've been to these other worlds. I might be so off base here, but I think that's pretty much the premise of that book. But I'm very excited to check this one out. I've heard amazing things about this series, and it just sounds very whimsical, and I can't wait to read it. So I will definitely be reading Every Heart a Doorway in June, and possibly a few of the other books in the series if I end up really enjoying it. All right, guys, this next book I have been putting off reading for a few years now. I talked about how I wasn't going to read this book, and then a few people convinced me that I should read this book, and I ended up going to Barnes & Noble's, and it was on sale, and I got it. So I will be reading The Mortal Instruments, or at least this one. So this is City of Bones, the first book in the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. I have read nothing by this author. I thought I was never going to get into this series, and oh my gosh, when I went to pick this book up, it was so intimidating, just the line of books. There's so many books in this series, and they're a lot thicker than I thought they were going to be. For some reason, I thought these were like really thin. Anyway, I'm going to give this a try. I don't know very much about this series at all, but we'll see. So I might do, if you guys are interested, let me know in the comments. I might do a reading vlog of me going through at least the first 3 books. I think I'm going to give it until 3 books. If I don't like it after that, then I'll probably end up scrapping it, but who knows? Maybe I'll really enjoy it. So this is probably the first book I'm actually going to end up reading in June. I'm already kind of excited about it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how I feel. All right, guys. Also, if the lighting kind of changes, it looks like it is about to storm like crazy outside. It is so gray, so I apologize for the lighting. But the next book that I plan on reading in June is Truly Devious. So this is the first in the Truly Devious series. This is a YA mystery, and I believe it takes place at a school. and this murder happened that was never solved, and it was by Truly Devious. And years go by, and then a new student thinks that he's going to be able to solve this crime until Truly Devious reappears. So it sounds like a really good time, and it just seems like an easy read. And right now, like I said, I got a lot going on in June. I just wanted something lighthearted and fun, and I think this will be perfect for that. All right, so the next two are contemporary romance, and the first one is very popular. I talked about it in my spring book haul, and that is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I believe in my spring book haul, I actually made an error, and I said I never read anything by her before. I didn't realize In a Holidays was also by her, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm actually even more excited to read this, and it's a hate to love romance. I believe there is a wedding, and everyone gets sick except for the maid of honor and the best man, and they end up going on the honeymoon together and pretend to be newlyweds even though they hate each other. And it just sounds like a really good time and the perfect book for summer and June. I just want to lay on a beach and read this, honestly. So I'm very excited to pick this up. And the next book is another book that was in my spring book haul. I'll actually leave that linked in the cards and in the description. And that is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. So I believe one of these guys is the president's son, and the other one is the English prince, and they don't get along because of something that happened in the tabloids. I didn't look too well into the synopsis. I probably should have before I did this. And they hate each other, but eventually I think they form a relationship. And it seems also like the perfect summer read. I realized that I like having contemporary romance on my TBR just because after I read a heavy or after I read fantasy, I just want something that's kind of easy and just like a fun, easy time that I don't have to think too much, which makes me sound ridiculous. But anyway, I wanted to have at least two books on my TBR. That one sounded really good, so those are the two contemporary romances I will hopefully be reading in June. And the last book on this list was completely an impulse buy. It's a graphic novel, and I saw it, and the front cover artwork just looked really cool, and I love horror movies, and this just gave me horror vibes. And that is The Plot. And like I said, graphic novel. I believe this is about this guy who's kind of looks like he's being tortured. He becomes the guardian of his niece and nephew, and they move into this house that seems to be haunted, and a bunch of spooky stuff goes down. I flipped through this really quickly, and it just looks, it gave me like Grudge energy and like The Ring. Like there's like creepy things in corners, and it just seemed like something I would really enjoy. I haven't read a lot of like horror graphic novels. Like I said, I tried The Sandman and I hated it, but I have high hopes for this. I also haven't heard anyone talk about it, so I'm excited to read it. All right, guys, that is it for my TBR. Like I said, I was keeping it pretty short just because I don't know what the next month is gonna bring. I feel like it's gonna be very chaotic, but hopefully I will read all of these books, if not more. Thank you so much for watching. If you've read any of these books or you think there's any books that I should read in June that have that like summer beachy vibe, please let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Bye.